So I'm Liam Heneghan, and the piece is called A City for Human Clams, a plea for environmental immobility. To add just another small suggestion, if we could just promote a little selective devolution, a stepping back in evolutionary time, this could be amply rewarded in terms of a greatly reduced human impact. Many successful organisms are rooted in one place. Rather than conveying themselves to their messy foodstuffs, often it should be noted by means of a tedious and energetic bumbling, swinging, galloping, and walking, their food comes to them. But let us not be guilty of absurdity in our aspirations. Advocating a return to plant life would be foolishness, and any half-meditative evolutionist would remind us that plants are exquisitely evolved organisms in their own right. There's no going back to plants. No, rather we should devolve to the condition of sessile organisms, something like a sea anemone, or a coral, or a barnacle. In fact, any animal that fixes itself to a substrate and waits for food to come its way can serve as a model. Lest this seem implausible, it should be noted that the evolutionary mechanism to achieve this is available to us already. There's nothing new under the sun, we've been told. And indeed, if we follow the simple edict of switching our sexual fancies to those of our species that are already sluggish, this should start paying evolutionary dividends fairly rapidly. The children of a union between a gamer, for instance, and let's say a knitter, or any pursuer of the meticulously slow-paced crafts, other excellent choices for biddable partners, scrapbookers, quilters, origami enthusiasts, should have sessile tendencies on the basis of meticulous calculations ratified by the most rigorous of sciences. It is hard to see why love matches between pursuits that require nimble fingers rather than active legs should not provide an excellent evolutionary start for this new species of humankind. As generation surpasses generation, human progeny could put down roots, so to speak, not of course actual roots. No, plant roots are already energetically expensive, diverting valuable resources from above to below. Rather, I advocate, indeed I predict, a simple anchoring of flesh to rock. We will exude byssal strands like our distant cousins among the mollusks. Imagine, therefore, entire villages or cities of human clams, adhering firmly to bare rock, content to stay in one place, perhaps busily knitting, viewing television, or at play in sundry and sedentary ways. That's all I'll read.
You might just talk a little bit about how this piece came to be, or where it comes from?
Like, I've got two boys, two kids, and they're both kind of obsessively, game-playing youth. And it really struck me kind of a year or so ago when one of them was on his PS3, like in his bedroom. He hadn't moved in, I'd say, at least a day, from early morning to late at night. I think I'd given him like a little bit of toast or something during the day. But it struck me like, we're constantly talking about getting outside and doing all of these sort of energetically expensive things, but here you can keep this human alive for, long periods of time with almost no energy expenses at all. And so I guess, of course it's, mildly satiric, but one of the problems has been, that a lot of our environmental solutions have been about getting out of cities. That cities are somehow kind of the wrong place for humans to be. But at the same time, we are simply not going to have kind of a sustainable future without cities as being part of that solution. So I'm obviously not sort of advocating kind of unhealthy existence in cities, but the idea that somehow living in dense urban settings is in fact kind of a fairly sensible environmental strategy. So yes, of course, people should feel happy being inside doing kind of nice domesticated things. They should also get outside. But the idea that we should somehow abandon cities just strikes me as being foolish and of course not realistic. So the idea was, just to start with that sort of image of a child playing, playing their PS3 and then just taking it to maybe sort of a slight absurdity, just to drive home the point that environmental solutions will often come from places where we least expect them. Probably not what I'm suggesting here, but certainly not like people would have suggested like a generation or so ago. That was my thinking, at least.